That was an incredible clap sync, Everett. I'm very impressed right now.
Thank you.
The other podcast I'm in is awful at that.
Oof.
Hello, I'm Jake Trumper.
And I'm Everett DeVoe.
And this is the podcast We Disagree, the extension of the Jake Trumper YouTube channel, and out of the two podcasts I make, the least successful one.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of us, actually.
I blame you. I don't know what...
It's big scheduling conflicts. Don't worry, guys. We'll make it better. We're getting there. We're stepping up the game.
The bi-monthly posts. It's going great. It's going great. We're doing
And
fine
the videos
here.
are shorter than the last one. So you know the production's going up great in this group.
At least this time we're talking closer to the mics, because halfway through we started like talking like this with the mics, and you just could not hear us at all. It was awful. Did you even watch the last podcast?
I actually did. I watched the first half of it, but I haven't gotten to the second half
didn't
where I
even
guess
finish
we're
it.
bad. But that was, it was a good first one.
It was a great
Good
start.
off.
I'm proud of us. I'm really proud of the things that we've done as a podcast group.
Yeah, we'll get there one day. We're coming H3. Just you wait.
Oh boy, you betcha. All right. Today, we are talking about me and Everett's favorite genre, horror. The reason I find horror interesting is it's kind of like, for me, I'm not sure if you would agree, it's like an escape.
An escape? Please, continue that statement. An escape to horror.
Like, I don't know, it's like there's a lot of actual scary things in the world, like, that I'm generally afraid of. Like, I'm terrified of, like, a heart attack. I'm terrified of, like, the stock market crashing again. Horror is like, it's almost like, oh, this dude's gonna get got. He deserves it. Like, it's like this fun little horror. Like, it's a step aside kind of thing. And I think that's why horror has been so popular for so many years, is it's kind of an escape from the actual horrors of life.
Yeah, I could see that for some horror films for sure. Now, do you mean that in like the sense of like adrenaline? Like you get adrenaline from
I
these
guess
movies?
so, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it's all rooted in horror. Like, horror's like its oldest time. It's like, if you commit a sin, the devil will get you. That's scary. That's horror.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like this concept. I don't want to get into religion, so I'll go to like Medusa. Like,
Sure.
They thought she was genuinely real, but they at the same time kind of talked about her in myth.
Yeah.
It's very old stuff. Like, she'd show up in stories. And it was kind of an escape from the real world of like, oh my God, Rome is falling amongst us all. But hey, if we go out like a great adventurer, we could see Medusa and fight her and save all the people that were turned to stone.
No, I get that. Yeah, I completely understand that.
Yeah. So I've always seen it as an escape, because I got some facts for you. Are you ready for
Here we
these
go.
facts? When the tragedy of 9/11 happened in 2001, horror theme parks and haunted houses actually saw a rise in attendance in October. It was the highest amount of people that have ever shown up.
Actually, really?
Yes. They blew their like predictions out of the water, and it seemed like people were using this controlled scare as an escape of the real fears of the real world. And it started backing up all these consensus of that. And that's why I have that thought.
That's actually pretty good. I totally didn't see that going.
I
that
made
way
you
at all.
walk into that trap. I'm gonna be honest. I was like,
No, that
"What do
was-
you think?" Well, here's just
I get that. No, like I understand that. That's totally fair. Yeah. I have no response to that. That's good.
Yes, that was the goal. All right, so now that we've kind of like talked about like the basis of horror and everything, and why some people really enjoy it, I feel like we didn't tell each other our favorite genres before we did this, so it'll be very awkward if we have the same genre and both just did research on the same genre. What's your favorite genre of horror, Everett?
Horror? Oh, I love slashers. Slashers are like number one in my book.
Awesome. Go ahead and just give me a little brief history of slashers.
Oh gosh. Well, slashers. I mean,
Ooh. What would you say the first slasher was?
okay. So the first slasher, it's kind of up to debate, but in my opinion, it's Black Christmas. But also Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out that time, and then there's a third movie which escapes my mind what it was, but
Didn't do as well as
no.
well,
the other two are more. I mean,
they didn't do well during their time either, did
Yeah.
they? They were known in like likes, and also what I liked about Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a great representation of what was going on in. It came out in the 70s, right?
yeah, early 70s, 74, I think.
Yeah, sometime in the 70s, like gas crisis was happening. So it's one of those scary things of like teens driving around out of gas, no gas anywhere. It was like a genuine fear, but it was still like kind of an escape fear. It was like, oh, that'll never happen to me because I'm not driving anywhere crazy.
Okay. No, I get that. So kind of like how The Purge is kind of like a political movie, but it's an escape from.
Yeah, it's like oh, if I had the opportunity, maybe I would, but I'd probably just hide in my house. It's one of those. It's one of those things that are based in reality, but have some truth behind them.
And that's actually kind of like why. I don't know. Actually, that's why I really like slashers, is because slashers are more grounded. I could definitely see someone break into someone's house and try to like cut them.
Yeah,
and that would freak me out really badly.
But at the same time, we know like the statistic of that happening is very low.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but still, it's possible. There's that like little inch of fear that it is possible.
And it kind of makes you think what you would do. You're like, am I the jock that dies in the beginning, or am I like the smart guy that at least like makes it close to the end, where you trick the audience like, oh, maybe he'll survive and he dies, but maybe I have a chance.
Likely I'd probably just die.
Yeah, I'm probably
like
first guy out.
I'm the guy at the end, but nah, I'm probably gonna be the first one off.
We're first guys out. And I accept that. And then, would you say, in my opinion, for slashers, even though Halloween came out a few years after, like 78, maybe?
Yeah, I think late 70s.
You want to double check me on that one? While for me, the reason Halloween was such a big impact was that was the first one for me that went big. Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre now is huge, but I remember in a discussion I watched the Dead Meat podcast. They're huge into horror. They know like the dates off the top of their heads, but they were referring to what they thought like the original slasher was. And while movies came out before, that was the first one that like made slashers. Like it brought the slasher to your home.
It was 78, by the way.
Woo!
Just want to throw that in
there. History boy. So it came out significantly later, and who was the director of that?
That was John Carpenter.
John Carpenter. Like John Carpenter's Halloween was like iconic.
Oh yeah.
And then
Halloween, I would say, probably brought the '80s horror of slashers around, because like you could give Texas Chainsaw Massacre some credit there, but Halloween is what influenced Friday the 13th to come out. Like literally, Friday the 13th is a ripoff of Halloween. Mm-hmm. They said that. Like the makers were like, yeah, we saw Halloween and we really want to capitalize on this idea, and they made Friday the 13th, and that's one of the most iconic series ever. And then other slashers of that time came out, so Halloween is the one that definitely solidified that for a mainstream audience.
Yeah, and I mean, because also one could argue, be like, well, Albert Hitchcock's Psycho, that could technically be a slasher. Is pretty for its time.
I mean, that's true.
I guess it's not as early. Obviously, it came out before those movies, but it's not super early because I know he purposely shot in black and white. Yeah. It wasn't because he had to. It's just because Hitchcock was like, yo, let's do black and white. It's cheaper.
More realistic.
So it was one of those things where one could go, you could keep going farther back. And it's just one of those things of what you think had the biggest impact. So I guess if slashers are your favorite genre, what slasher is your favorite then?
Actually, Friday the 13th, Part 2. Part 2 specifically.
What happens in that one? I don't even... there's so many... Man, he goes to space. Yeah, you got Jason X. I kind of like that one, I'll be honest.
Jason X has some pretty funny parts.
It's great. All right, so what's 2?
Yeah, Part 2, it takes place like almost directly after the first movie, like a couple months, I think is the difference.
Oh, yeah.
But it's before Jason gets his iconic Jason mask, or the hockey mask.
Because Part 1 doesn't even have Jason in it. It's his mom.
It's his mother.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So the second one, he only has like a burlap sack and, with a hole, and he like fights with a pickaxe.
Yeah.
And you like see him without the mask, and he's just like, an old homeless guy that probably is not in touch with anybody because he was, an outcast. But, like, it was just kind of, like, a really cool follow-up to, his mom killing everybody.
He kills the chick who killed his mom in the first one.
Yeah,
like, that's
right
the first kill. Yeah. It's a very interesting one. Okay, yeah. I like that.
And actually, really fun trivia
it.
fact about that movie.
Okay.
So the main actress, the one that survived from the first Friday the 13th, she actually was killed off in the second one because she had a stalker, or people began to stalk her because of the first movie, and she wanted out of acting. So they killed her off in the second one because she just didn't want to do it anymore because it was freaky to her.
Did you say fun fact? Because that's not a fun fact.
Okay, well,
that's a sad fact.
Interesting fact about the movie. Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad. Well, that's a great favorite. Do you have any other favorite slashers before we go into my favorite genre?
Any slashers? Probably Halloween. Honestly,
Halloween?
Those two just kind of
even Halloween 3, the one that's not even Michael Myers anymore.
Well, it's Not
I
Michael
thought it was cool
Myers.
in its own
well,
thing.
it tried to do something different. Everyone said no, and then they went back to Michael Myers. It's respectable. It tried to like make an anthology series, but it not for Halloween. It shouldn't have had the title Halloween.
Speaking of Halloween, Halloween actually tried to dip their toes into my favorite genre, which is the found footage genre.
They did Halloween.
Halloween. Remember with Coolio? And they do the... Yeah. You're not even remembering it, but
Wait,
there's...
that's like Resurrection or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
there's Coolio in it. He's the game show host.
Oh,
You remember it.
I remember that movie. I don't remember that, like, the found footage stuff.
It's like they use webcams and they use all this...
okay.
So it's kind of like dipping its toes into that new era.
Yeah.
And for me, found footage has an awful, awful beginning because arguably... I had to write down the dates because I got a lot of dates here.
Oh, okay,
so
sure.
personally, my favorite movie is The Evil Dead,
Okay.
which came out in 1981.
That's one by Sam Raimi, right?
Yeah, Sam Raimi starring... Well, technically, you didn't even know it was starring Bruce Campbell till the end when he became the main character. But it's got a lot of shaky. I like shaky cam things where you just genuinely don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And found footage has capitalized on this just chaotic. You have no idea what's happening. And that's what I love to see. It's just how chaotic it is. And you see that in probably one of the most infamous movies ever, Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, yeah.
You know that. Okay.
Yeah.
It came out in 1980. Mm-hmm. And the director actually got arrested because they thought they actually murdered people. Mm-hmm. They thought people actually, like, got. And he made the actors hide after the movie came out and pretend like... And they did the same thing with Blair Witch, which I'll get into as well. Mm-hmm. But they actually got locals from that country to be in the movie, commit these horrible crimes. And what I don't like Cannibal Holocaust. It's very gruesome. They show every gruesome detail. They murder an actual turtle in real life.
Like a huge turtle.
Yeah.
Not like a baby turtle, like those big, like 5-foot ones.
Yeah, they kill a monkey. But the message behind it is so cool. It's these people are filming a documentary. And they're these famous people for filming documentaries. They're these great people that capture things. But you start seeing that this Western civilization, the people from the West, these 4 people who are filming, are actually just monsters. Like they set this nice village's building on fire to make it look like it just naturally caught on fire, and they caught it on film. And they start like doing bad things to the local women, and they're these awful people. So at the end, when they get brutally murdered, you're like, yeah, take that, but they show every gruesome detail. Yeah. And it's awful. And the payoff, I was just left feeling very sad. And I didn't like it that much. Yeah. But then it gets good. But then found footage gets pretty great because then you get the 1999 Blair Witch Project. Yeah. And have you seen Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
And what do you think?
It was pretty good. I mean, I don't know. I think it was like a slow burn.
You don't like found footage, do you?
I mean, it depends on the found footage. Cloverfield's pretty good. I like those, like monster movie-esque ones. I'm trying to think of like a good found footage. I liked As Above, So Below.
Yeah.
That was really good.
That one was, thank you. I like, if it's found footage, you got my heart. I like all the Paranormal Activities. Yeah. I like every single one. I even like number 2. I know, debatably, number 2 is actually very solid, I would say.
What's your thoughts on 5?
I just feel like they just lost control. They had no idea what they were doing anymore, which is kind of sad. The time Toby is Jack, I don't know, man. It's just a weird movie. I feel like no one knows the names I'm saying because no one else like followed it. I followed it very religiously, so I was pretty brokenhearted about it. But it's another thing where that replaced like Hostel and Saw. Because remember, Hostel and Saw were super popular for a long time.
They're actually bringing back Saw. Yes,
they are. But like, it's weird that 1999 had Blair Witch Project and kind of blew up on the internet and then went nowhere. And then you got all this gore fest stuff. Yeah. And then found footage came back and replaced it, which I thought was pretty cool. And overall, I just think horror, you can go look at the times and see the early 2000s for us was an angry time. And that's why angry horror succeeded. And then you had the 10s, and that was a time of where we realized the real world is scary. And then you have real world found footage. And then now, psychological horror is popular. I would say, like, what's the one, the girl gets hit with the telephone pole? Hereditary!
Oh God, yeah. I was like, what?
Hereditary. It's like a psychological film. Yeah. A24? Is that?
Yeah, that's A24.
Yeah, they do.
Midsommar is also another one that they did. That was like that was weird.
And it's because now we're starting to think more. more thinking generation. The 2020s, starting to think, and
That's true.
and I think you see that with horror. But now that we've gotten too intellectual with it, I'm going to stop us, and we're just going to play a dumb game to finish this off, because I love playing horror games.
Sounds right.
Not horror games, just history games.
Lower the bar.
So I'm going to give you a little game here. I'm just going to poorly describe horror movies, and we're going to see how many you can get. It's going to get a little bit harder each time.
Okay.
So we've got 5 here.
Okay.
If you can get all 5, you win a prize.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Okay. First one is going to be... A guy really hates camp.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, wow. The first one was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Was it? I feel like I went too easy on you on the first one.
Yeah, I really like Friday.
Yeah, right when you said that was your favorite, I was like,
Oof.
oofda. I was like, oofda. Okay, next one is 2 friends and a random guy from Asia have a terrible experience.
2 friends and a guy from Asia. Hold on. 2 guys and a friend.
No, not 2 guys and a friend. 2 friends and a guy from Asia have a terrible time.
Have a terrible time. Can I get a hint, honestly?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. They won't be doing much walking afterwards.
You said 2 friends and a guy from Asia.
Yeah, I didn't want to try to guess his ethnic, region. I think they say in the movie, but I don't know the movie too well.
Is this an old movie? Like a really old movie?
No, not at all, actually. No, it's 2000s.
It's 2000s? I want to say, like, Human Centipede?
Human Centipede!
Really? Okay, that's actually surprising.
Wow. Good job,
actually got
Mr. Horror Buff. Wow, okay.
Wow.
All right, you were all caught. You're like, I know horror movies, bro. I'm gonna get it.
You're throwing me around for a loop there, but go. What's the next one? I'm feeling hot.
Sarcastic guy ruins everything.
Sarcastic guy, Joker? No, that's not horror. Sarcastic guy ruins.
There's more to it. I got very vague. Started getting very vague.
Okay.
With it.
So there's more to that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Sarcastic guy ruins everything for hot teens.
Nightmare on Elm Street?
Nightmare on Elm Street. Wow. Okay.
Sure.
Being in a sorority sucks.
Sorority. Oh God, I'm trying to think of what that would be.
There's another one to that one as well.
Okay, hold on. Being in a sorority sucks. Is it a recent one?
No.
Recent movie?
It was remade kind of recently in the 2000s, but no.
Trying to think.
I can either tell you the date it came out, or I can give you the other part of
Go for the other part of it.
Phone calls are very awkward. So it sucks to be in a sorority, and their phone calls are very awkward.
Oh, what?
I bet you wish you went with the date. I feel like if I tell you the date, you will know.
Okay, what's the date?
Okay. Only because I was so impressed with the last 3.
Okay.
It's 1970s.
Sorority and the bad phone calls.
Oh boy, you mentioned this movie before.
Oh, wait, is it?
It's so close. It's so close.
Is it Texas Chainsaw?
No, wait. I'll give you another hint before you guys get.
You're really making this easy.
Being home in a sorority really sucks, and answering the phone is awkward, especially around Christmas.
Oh, Black Christmas.
Yeah,
I was thinking of a sorority movie, but I couldn't think of it.
There you go.
I'll take that. That's a loss. But yeah, I was
so...
thinking. You're right. Now that makes perfect sense because it did get remade recently in the 2000s.
Yeah, I know it.
I remember that.
I'm
Was
sorry.
That the last one?
No, there's one more.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
Everyone's crazy, and this guy just wants to help. And there's more to it, but I just wanted to throw that.
Everyone's crazy, and this guy just wants to help. Oh, what, Batman? No, it's not horror.
Okay, can I
give
you... So everyone's crazy, and this guy wants to help. I'm glad they got 8.
They got 8? Oh, wait, hold on. Repeat the hints one more time. So,
a guy just wants to help, but everyone around him's crazy. I'm glad they got 8. I'm glad they got eaten.
Yeah.
I can give you some dates and information on it.
So I'm just thinking of like The Hills Have Eyes. But
No. It was also remade.
It was also remade.
Remade in a mall.
In a mall. Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, there you go. Ding, ding, ding. Man, I love messing with you with games and just these terrible games.
Oh.
All right, buddy.
I'm gonna be honest, that was pretty hard. That really threw. I thought they were gonna be way easier.
How did you guys do? The first one was really easy, wasn't it?
It was.
You're like, oh, Jake's got this. I was like, nah, screw you.
Oof.
How'd you guys do? Are you guys horror movie buffs? If you are, you probably knocked that out of the park because Ever loves horror movies. I know he's gonna cry after this.
I'm pretty disappointed in myself right now, to be honest. But hey,
Look at that.
Whatever.
We
It's a
made
learning
it.
experience.
We made it to 20 minutes. I'm very proud of us. That's 10 minutes more than I thought we would. We really like to talk, so we're gonna call it there. Thank you guys so much for watching and putting up with us. The 100 of you that watch this video really make Everett's day. He really needs that.
Feel free to bring a friend to make it like 101.
Tell your friends. Have a viewing party. Please, God, help us, okay? It helps us boost up the production value.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Thank you guys again for watching. Until next time.
Deuces.